For those I don't know, my name is Erin. I am Marion's niece and one of her biggest fans. After a beautifully lived 93 years, Jesus called this sweet angel home. It's always hard to lose someone who we love so very much, but I do know she was ready. I had the privilege to spend an afternoon with her when I was home this past July, and we had a wonderful visit. We laughed, we cried, we shared lots of stories. Sometimes we got to laugh multiple times at the same story because she had some memory issues, and I absolutely love that about Mare. But when I gave her a hug and a kiss goodbye and told her just how much I loved her, I had a feeling of peace come over me, even though I truly believed this was probably our final goodbye. Part of that peace came from Marion's own words. She shared the pain she was in and how she was ready to go home. But part of that peace came from reflecting on the lives she touched and the vast amount of experiences she enjoyed in her nearly century on Earth. Because during all of those years, Marion always approached the world with love, loyalty, strength, and an amazing dose of silly humor. So I'd love to go for a little walk down memory lane with you, first focusing on the loving, loyal, and strong side of Marion. Marion was born June 11th, 1932 to Ora and Everett Monroe. The oldest of the 10 siblings, she truly was the glue across the family. She stayed connected to everyone, and prior to her memory issues, she could tell you the name of every first, second, and third generation family member and give you an update on their life. She stayed so connected by attending absolutely every family event she could and sending what must have been hundreds of birthday cards every year. Speaking of family events, Marion was a Christmas Eve fixture while I was growing up, and her staple contribution of shrimp cocktail made such an impression on me that I now serve it every Christmas Eve. Thank you, Mare. In 1960, Marion and Frank married and had their three lovely daughters, Terry, Karen, and Kathy. She was a wonderful mom and loved her girls immensely. Over the years, they lived in 6 states: Minnesota, North Carolina, Virginia, California, and Maryland, primarily due to Frank's service as a pilot in the Marines. For many years, Marion had to remain incredibly strong while Frank served 4 tours of duty in the Vietnam War. She was raising all 3 kids at the time, often moving from state to state. And this was all prior to the communication luxuries we have today, like FaceTime and texting, which meant she had to not only hold down the fort while worrying about her husband with very minimal ability to communicate with him. On top of that, Marion's career achievements were incredibly impressive. She completed her nursing degree in 1955. This is a period where that was not very common for women. And following that, she became an OR nurse and helped thousands of patients over nearly 30 years. During my most recent visit, I asked her about that time and what it was like. I asked if she was intimidated by the OR doctors or the job itself. In her most adorable voice, she said, "Why, of course not. If they wanted to bark at me, I'd bark right back. I always stood my ground and I was good at my job. Plus, we worked together for so many years, we built a lot of trust in one another." That's what I absolutely love about Aunt Marion. She was so impressive. During her life, Marion was the definition of loyalty. She maintained her friendships with her high school friends for decades. They would continue to get together and meet for lunch monthly until they just physically couldn't do it anymore. They traveled together over the years, both domestically and internationally. Plus, she stayed close with her college friends and her colleagues from Divine Redeemer up until recently when it was just too hard to get around. Her other little friend she was fiercely loyal to was her sweet little Kiki. Marion was not only a wonderful mom to her 3 daughters, but also a wonderful dog mom to Kiki. She was also incredibly loyal to her church and her faith. Growing up at First United Methodist Church, I can't remember a Sunday service where Aunt Marion wasn't in the pew next to us. When First UMC closed its doors, she came here to St. Paul's United Methodist Church with her fellow lifetime friends and congregants. Both Marion and Frank showed their love to the whole family by sharing their cabin in Pequot Lakes with all of us. Growing up, I spent countless weekends with them at the lake. They always made it work. Even if the cabin was packed, they let my friends and I pitch a tent on the front lawn or stay in the back of an RV in the driveway. Many nights we would grill and eat on the back patio, and they would always treat me to a special dinner out at the wharf. I met a lot of friends on that lake, and they made all of them feel welcome as they'd come to visit us at the cabin. While Marion watched her evening game shows and Frank drank his iced tea while throwing the frisbee to Tipper, those are some of my best memories growing up. Because of Aunt Marion and Uncle Frank, the image of standing at the end of their dock is the place my mind has gone for all of these years whenever I needed to find peace in a sad or scary time. So I will be forever grateful to them for that. Now let's switch gears a little bit and talk about Marion's silly, goofy, and sweet side. One of my favorite memories took place when I was just a kid. My friend Julia and I were visiting their home in Invergrove Heights, and we must have gone down into the basement to play, but we were stopped in our tracks when we saw multiple beds covered with dead bodies. We were so afraid. We didn't know if we should uncover them and confirm our worst fear, or go upstairs to the potential killers, Aunt Marion and Uncle Frank. We weren't brave enough to uncover them, so we had to go upstairs and ask Aunt Marion if she knew that there might be dead bodies in her basement. Silly Aunt Marion played into this and started laughing so hard. She took us downstairs and uncovered her extremely large exercise machines. We laughed for years about that. Looking back now, I think those crazy exercise machines might have had something to do with keeping Aunt Marion healthy and strong for so many years. Another funny memory was when Aunt Marion, Aunt Sharon, and my mom, Nancy, came to visit me while I was studying abroad in Spain. Poor Marion's stomach wasn't feeling so good. So one night we were out to dinner, and she simply asked for the fruit plate. She wanted to keep it light and easy and was looking forward to a bowl of fresh fruit. However, the waitress came back with a whole red apple sitting on top of a plate. Not cut, not diced, nothing more, nothing less. Poor Marion, she sat there staring at it silently, and we thought, oh my goodness, how is this going to go down? But then she broke into a full-blown belly laugh, and we have joked about that fruit plate now for years. No matter where she was, who she was with, or even if she was in pain, Marion always had a smile on her face. She loved to tease and say silly things. She and my husband loved to tease each other, and they'd always end up with giggles. More recently, at Christmas last year, she told our son Noah he was so handsome that she wanted him to be her boyfriend. The two of them laughed so hard, and now when I talk about Aunt Marion to the kids, they say, "You mean Noah's girlfriend?" At every event, you could find Marion sitting and laughing next to her daughters or sharing silly jokes with others at the party. So as I began, Marion lived her life filled with love, loyalty, strength, and an amazing dose of humor. Mare, you are loved beyond measure and will be missed by all of us, especially your daughters. Enjoy heaven and reuniting with so many loved ones.